All right, good evening, everybody. Today is Monday, February 4th. I cannot believe it is already February.
I can. I'm almost 40.
We usually do our calls on Sundays. So for those of you who are joining the call for the first time, make sure you know that Sunday nights at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time is our regular scheduled time. We reworked it with the Super Bowl because we know that the Super Bowl is a really great way to meet people, connect, have people see you who you haven't seen in a while, have them comment on your transformation and so on. So
especially since the game wasn't worth talking about yesterday, you had plenty of opportunities to talk to people. All right.
Okay. All right. So I'm here to just make a quick introduction, kind of tee up the topic for tonight and the speaker. And then I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to watch the call and take notes, like hopefully all of you. And if you don't have something to write with, you're going to want to have something to write with. And this is a call that you're going to want to come back to. This is a call that is going to provide a lot of great value and answer a lot of your questions. Some questions you've had come up for yourself and some you've had team members ask, and maybe you don't know exactly how to coach on this specific topic. But what Zach is here to share with you tonight is something that he's really an expert on. And he's known in the industry for being an expert on this topic. So for those of you who are newer to the team and you might not know this about Zach, prior to Isagenix, Zach was involved in a couple of different network marketing companies. He actually left building in the field and he was hired by other companies to be a generic trainer, to train on one specific topic that Zach started training on before anybody was really doing it. And that topic is social media. Building your network marketing business while leveraging the use of social media to attract people to you in a way that's unique, that stands out, that differentiates you from the rest. And he was one of the first people to start teaching this when Facebook was brand new about 10 years ago. And so he has a very long history of not just studying every aspect of how social media works to build your business. He's constantly studying the algorithms, the way it's evolving, new platforms, how to use them, what's trending, what's effective, what's relevant, because it's constantly changing. And if we're not willing to stay on top of what's effective, then not only do we become irrelevant in the way that we're marketing, but we then don't know how to turn around and teach our brand new people who really want to establish themselves inside of their networks on how to do that effectively so that they can get really a return on their time and start to build up their business so that they really understand the value of even being able to be behind a computer screen and how much we can grow our business in the process. So Zach he's known for being an expert on this subject. He's been on multiple amounts of Isagenix stages. He's always getting calls. Hey, can you teach my team social media? Can you teach my team social media? So this is something that we haven't really done in a while, that he hasn't really done in a while. But some new questions have been asked that, it's just time we realize that, okay, we get to have a new, fresh conversation about social media and how it's being done right now. So pay very, very close attention because you have somebody here that really understands this stuff and knows how to communicate it effectively. And with that said, I'm going to go. I'm going to watch.
I'm going to go too. Have a good night. All right. So type in the chat box if you guys are excited to learn how to more. I'm just moving this chair out of the way because it's going to bother me. If you guys are excited to learn more about how to effectively use social media for attraction marketing purposes and also active marketing purposes, just type in the chat box if you guys are excited, right? And here's the thing. There is a lot of information out there about attraction marketing, and there's a lot of good information. If you see me looking down, it's because I have some notes that I want to make sure I hit on some very specific things for you guys tonight. There's some really great information out there. There's some terrible information out there. There are some phenomenal things that are happening in the network marketing profession when it comes to online attraction marketing. There are some very bad things that are happening. Now, here's what I'll share with you. Some of the bad habits that I'm seeing are the same bad habits that I saw 10 or 11 years ago that I was vehemently opposed to. When I first started, just to give you guys a little bit of foundation in terms of my background, when I first started teaching social media, I went entirely against the grain of social media marketing, quote unquote, gurus. I was completely opposed to the idea of branding a company. I was opposed to the idea of shoving your products down people's throats. I was so opposed to the idea of branding your company and not yourself that I would tell people to not even have photos of their company logos or anything like that in their profile photos or in any of their primary photos. I was so all about the idea of creating intrigue and mystery that a lot of other people in the industry thought I was crazy. A lot of them said, no, it's this amazing platform, screaming from the rooftops, you plaster it all over your walls, let everybody know about it, blah, 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 blah. And I always went the other direction. And I had a feeling that over time, the idea of quote unquote attraction marketing, which is what I believed in, would inevitably take over, right? And to some degree, we've seen that, and in other degrees, we haven't seen that. But I am noticing some changes. I am noticing some shifts. And for those of you guys that are new, I'm going to talk about a couple of different stages here. I'm going to talk to the brand new people who are just getting started. Some of you guys are joining for the very first time on these calls. Welcome to the training. Welcome to the team calls. Our vision, just so you guys know, our vision, Ian and I, our vision is to have the best trained team in all of network marketing. That's our vision, to have the best trained team in all of network marketing, not just Isagenix, but in all of network marketing, because I feel that through training, you can grow your income. And through training, you can get drop shipped anywhere in the world and be successful no matter where you go. And we know that marketing is a very, very big part of what we do, right? Marketing is a very, very big part of what we do. And it'd be foolish of us to ignore how powerful social media marketing can be. Would you guys agree with that? Just type in the chat box if you would agree that social media marketing is a huge, huge part of what we require in today's day and age. Okay, so first things first, how many of you don't feel like you have a already built-in network, right? Maybe you only have a couple of hundred friends on Facebook. You don't have a ton of followers on Instagram. How many of you feel like you're just now starting your network? And there's some concern there. There's a concern that, hey, you know what? Like when I post, I don't get a ton of engagement. There aren't a lot of people that are paying attention to my posts. No one's really responding to me. I only have 300 or 400 or 500 friends or whatever may be, right? Okay. So we're going to talk about some proactive ways, some really proactive ways, and we're going to talk about Facebook and Instagram and some of the differences, right? And, Instagram can be challenging. Instagram is a really unique beast. And we're going to talk about some of the differences between Facebook and Instagram, and we're going to talk about some of the favoritism that Instagram is getting versus whether or not there's still a place for Facebook and what we do. I'm going to make a strong case for Facebook at the end of this, just so you guys know. I'm just going to seed that right now. I'm going to make a strong case for Facebook for a variety of reasons. But how do you grow your audience? There are some sophisticated marketers on here, some savvy marketers that have done a good job of growing their audience. And maybe you guys are welcome to tap in and chime in. But Facebook gives you the opportunity to grow your audience. That's the first thing you've got to know. So here's what I would suggest. If you're brand new and you're looking to grow an audience, it's far easier to do on Facebook than it is on Instagram. I'm going to say it again. It is far easier to grow your audience on Facebook than it is on Instagram. Now, why is that? Can anyone tell me why that is or why I believe that is? Just type in the chat box. Why do I think it's easier to grow on Facebook than it is on Instagram? Instagram is flooded, sure. Okay, what else? Facebook friends are easier to get and maintain. Okay. Friends of friends. Yep, exactly. Facebook is more about friends and family. Very true. And ultimately, Facebook provides features built into the platform that guide you to the ability to create new friends and expand, versus Instagram is all search-based. So I can log on to Facebook and I can search for friends that I went to high school with, junior high school, college if you went to college, old jobs that you've had, cities that you've lived in, cities that you currently live in, cities that you want to travel to, friends of friends. There are all these different features that Facebook says, hey, we want to help you connect with the rest of the world. And these are all people that you are either you are 1 degree of separation from, or you're 6 or 7 degrees of separation from. But Facebook provides the easiest way for you to build relationships with people that have common interests and common friends. So one of the things you can do, and I love this feature, is under the friends section of Facebook, you can go in and you can actually type in your email address and you can type in your email password. And what Facebook is going to populate is it's going to populate a list of every person that you've ever emailed with. whether or not they're on Facebook, it's going to show you. And then it gives you the option to send them a friend request. So that's one very simple way to grow your network and grow your audience on Facebook, is to go back, and type in where you went to school, what jobs you've had, right? Who's your favorite sports teams, right? And start to connect that way. Now, my recommendation, send out 5 to 10 new friend requests a day. 5 to 10 new friend requests a day. And it's a really simple thing to create as a part of your DMO. Because how long does it take to send out a friend request? Just type in the chat box. How long does it take? And my phone is being annoying, so hang on. I got to keep my notes open. So let me turn off low battery mode. Okay, turn off low power mode. Okay, it takes a second. It takes 1 second. Now, alongside of that, you can then send out a short little message to create the friendship or to rekindle a friendship. So I can see Nicole's on my screen, right? And let's say I decide to search by people who went to Clemson University. I'm just going to pretend that I was a Clemson alumni, right? Nicole, that's where you went, right? You went to Clemson, right? So I might see that I might see that Nicole went to Clemson. And I might go to her profile and look at her and be like, oh my God, look, she has a jewelry company. She's entrepreneurial. She's a Clemson alumni. And I might send her a chat that says, hey, Nicole, I know this is totally out of the blue, but I'm just looking to connect with some fellow Clemson alumni that are also up to big things in the world. Hope you don't mind me sending you a friend request, sending you a message. That's it. Nice to meet you. I'm not pitching her on isogenics. I'm not telling her what I do. I'm not doing anything other than establishing a very simple contact. Now, how many of you guys, just type in the chat box, how many of you have the capability to do that? How many of you have the ability to literally just send out a message like that? 100%. Everyone can do that. Another one of my favorite things to do, and I've been teaching this for years, it's still highly effective, is I'm a big reader. Okay, and I read a lot of personal development books. So what can you do on Facebook? You can type in the search box, Think and Grow Rich. It's going to populate a list of every single person that has liked or read Think and Grow Rich. So I might see that Alexis pops up and it says, Alexis likes, Think and Grow Rich. And Alexis, I might send you a message. Hey, Alexis, I know this is totally random. I know you don't know me, but I'm always looking to connect with like-minded people. I actually did a search for people that have read one of my favorite books called Think and Grow Rich, and your name popped up. Curiously, how has that book impacted your life? Question mark. Curiously, how has that book impacted your life? And now, are we in a conversation, yes or no? We're in a very simple, natural conversation. So simple, guys. So simple and not creepy. It's normal. And here's why it's normal. Write this down if you're taking notes. Social networking is the exact same thing as real-world networking. Social networking is the exact same thing as real-world networking. So if I saw Alexis at the bookstore and she was holding a copy of Think and Grow Rich, I would 100% say to her, oh my God, that is one of my favorite books. It's had such an impact on my life. Have you read it yet? Have you read it yet, or are you considering buying it? I might see that Nicole is wearing a Clemson shirt, and I might be out at the mall around. I might see Nicole's wearing a Clemson shirt, and I might go, oh my God, no way. Go Tigers. I'm a Clemson alumni also. What year did you graduate? Totally normal. Totally normal. So one of the easiest ways for those of you guys that are still trying to grow your audience is by proactively creating conversations and networking on purpose and being intentional and just looking to create conversations. I'm going to challenge every single one of you this week to just start 50 new conversations. How many of you can agree to do that? That's 10 conversations a day for 5 days this week. All you're going to do is find people with common interests, check out their profiles, see if you vibe with them, see if you vibe with them, right? And send them a little note just based on some of the language. 50 new conversations, that's all you're doing, okay? So that's step one in expanding your organic market, your organic network. Now you can do the same thing on Instagram by searching for hashtags. Sydney just did a brilliant little training on how she's using geotags to find people in her local community. So go check that out. Okay, now that's step one. Step two, what is real attraction marketing all about? And this goes back to what I was saying before, some of the good things I'm seeing, some of the bad things I'm seeing. What is real attraction marketing all about? Does anyone want to take a shot at it? Just type in the chat box. Like when you hear the words attraction marketing, what do you think attraction marketing is really all about? Being attractive, yeah, of course, just being real, yeah, it's like it's the Zoolander, right? You just want to be really, really ridiculously good looking, right? Providing value, right? What else? what is attraction marketing all about? And these are great. Providing value is a good one. What else? Relating to someone on their level, right? Relating to someone on their level that they trust you, absolutely creating an image, okay? These are all correct answers, all correct, right? Enrolling people into your vision, attracting similar-minded people, right? Have people asking you what you do, right? Being magnetic, being someone that people want to be around. I love that, Crystal. And all of these are right. All of these are spot on. And really what attraction marketing is, from my perspective, is the accumulation of everything that you just described, okay? It is our ability to communicate with the world who we are such that they're willing to keep listening to our story. That's it. That's what attraction marketing is. It's our willingness to communicate with the world who we are so that they want to keep listening to our story. Now, the very last word that I used was story. What attraction marketing is the continual telling of our story. It's a ongoing, I always describe it like this. It's a digital magazine. And every post that you put up, everything that you put online is an article. Everything that you put up is an advertisement. Everything that you do is another flip of the page. And so you've got to start to ask yourself the question of, how much of my story am I really willing to share? How authentic am I really willing to be? Now, here's one of the negatives that I'm seeing in the world of attraction marketing today. One of the negatives that I'm seeing is that everybody, do you guys notice everyone's on the top of the mountaintop? All the influencers, right? All the influencers, everything's amazing, cotton candy, unicorns, you're powerful, you're amazing, blah, 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 right? All the time. And how do so many people feel when they look at these influencers online? What's the feeling that that creates? What's the feeling? You feel like crap. You feel like shit about yourself. Excuse my language. You feel like there's no way I'm ever going to get there. And one of the most important things about attraction marketing is that you embrace where you come from, is that you share the parts of you that other people can relate to. And yes, you can be vulnerable, okay? Because I want to explain why attraction marketing is so effective. Attraction marketing is so effective because of something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs, okay? For those of you guys that are familiar with psychology, Abraham Maslow, famous psychologist, he created this pyramid based on what our needs are. And here's the problem with a lot of attraction marketing today. The highest level of Maslow's hierarchy, Maslow's pyramid, if you will, was something called self-realization, nirvana, right? Joy, fulfillment, peace, prosperity, the whole deal. The bottom rung is survival. Literally, where are we going to get our next meal from? Do we have enough water to drink? Do we have a roof over our head? Can we pay our bills? If you were to guess, what percentage of the population would you say is in survival mode versus actually in self-realization? What percentage of people would you say are just in survival mode? 80. At least 80 to 95% of people are just in survival mode. So part of the reason that you feel like crap, or that other people feel like crap when they see a quote unquote influencer just talking from this place of self-realization, is because they cannot hear the words. They cannot fathom what it looks like to be all the way at the mountaintop. So what do we get to do to differentiate ourselves? And that's what I really want to talk about. So I might go over by 5 or 7 minutes. Let me just get your permission. Normally we go until about 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern. I'm kind of feeling it tonight. Would it be okay if I just take a little bit of a cushion tonight? If you guys find value in this, do you guys want me to keep going? If I'm feeling it and you're feeling it, okay, cool. All right. So what do we get to do to differentiate ourselves? Because how many of you would agree that when you go through your Instagram stories, when you go on Facebook, you know right away, you're like, they're marketing something, they're marketing something, they're marketing something, they're marketing something, they're selling Isogenics, they're selling Isogenics, they're selling Beachbody, they're selling Herbalife, they're doing this company. How many of you guys are seeing your entire news feeds filled up with other network marketers? Okay, all day long, Eden says, all the time. And we're seeing our peers doing it too, right? Every Instagram story I click through right away, it's Isogenics, it's Isogenics, it's Isogenics, right? It's Herbalife. I already know. I can go to someone's news feed right away. I can go to their timeline right away. I know that they're networkers. So how do I know that? The reason I know that is because everyone's screaming from the mountaintop. And no one is willing, very few people are willing to come back down into the world of survival. Now, that doesn't mean that you lower your frequency. But what it means is that every post that you do, every story, everything you do has to include a willingness to demonstrate a certain degree of compassion and empathy. Oftentimes, we forget where we've been and we only focus on where we are or where we're going. Exactly, Natalie. We can show our journey and come up and be relatable. So are you willing to dip down in with somebody, grab them by the hand and walk them out? It's not enough to say, hey, I lost 15 pounds in 30 days on isogenics and you can do it too. Come do this with me. It's not enough. Because remember, before you lost those 15 pounds, you probably didn't believe that losing those 15 pounds were possible. In fact, you probably felt a lot of feelings that you never want to go back to. But are you willing to go back to those feelings, to literally embody those feelings before you write the post? Are you willing to close your eyes and remember what it felt like? Because make no mistake that your energy, when you type on your phone, when you write a post, your energy gets transmitted. The people you're looking for, the people that are watching you, your networks, they can tell whether or not you're selling or you're providing value. And I really want to challenge this organization to get back to the roots of what real marketing is. And real marketing is solving people's problems. And the only way we can truly solve people's problems is if we're willing to identify with the problems like we had at one point in our own lives. So there's this unbelievable paradox to success that I talk about sometimes. And success, it's this phenomenal paradox. And I came up with this, I think, a year ago. It's this crazy paradox. In order to become successful, you have to forget where you come from. You have to forget. You have to forget all the conditioning, all the stories, all the lies that you told yourself, all the limiting beliefs. You have to forget where you came from. All the abuse that you suffered, if you did, all the circumstances, all the events, you have to forget where you came from. But in order to sustain, maintain, and then grow your success, which is only done by showing other people how to be successful, you got to remember where you come from. You got to remember where you come from. The paradox of becoming successful is you got to forget where you came from. To maintain and continue and sustain success, you got to remember where you come from. And so all of your storytelling, all of your posts, everything you do has to focus on where you were, what you've experienced, what's happening now, where you're going, and why they can come with you. Every single post, every single story, for the most part, should have that foundation to it. Now, I just want to check in. Does this feel complicated to anybody? Just type in the chat box. If this feels complicated, let me know. Okay, so Cece, to repeat it. Everything that you do, I want you to have the mindset, the come from, the identity of where was I? What have I experienced? What did I experience? Where am I now? Where am I going? Right? So what was the struggle like? It's a 4-step process. Okay. Now, how lengthy should posts be? Up to you. And it's important to test things and play with things and see what people respond to and don't respond to. I sometimes go look at my Facebook today. I wrote 2 different posts. One really long post. One, I think it was 4 or 5 lines, right? Mix it up. Clint, it's comfortable. It is comfortable. I promise you it's comfortable. And the reason I know that it's comfortable is because doing this is more comfortable than where you were previous to where you are right now. It's more comfortable. So that's what I'm saying. Can we check in with that person? Who was more uncomfortable? The previous you, the person that was struggling, the person that was struggling financially, the person that was struggling physically, right? Or the person you are now? What's more uncomfortable? What's more comfortable, right? And again, and this is the biggest way to get yourself over the hump, it's not about you. And that's how you know that you're providing value as opposed to selling somebody. That's how you know that you are serving and not selling, because you don't worry about your own anxiety about this. You don't worry about your own ego, quite frankly, about what it's going to sound like or how it's going to look or how people might interpret it. Because when you're doing those things, you're making it about you. And I promise you that if you make it about you, you'll reach a couple people. But if you make it about others, you will move mountains of people. Now, how do I know this? How do I know this? Because in the early part of my career, it was all about me. It was all about me. I was arrogant. I was cocky. I don't know if those are the same thing, but they might as well be. I was standoffish. I wasn't available. I wasn't open to feedback. I thought I was the shit. I thought I knew everything. And what happened? My business, it grew. It went like this, but then it went like this. It crashed. Now you can study any old philosophy. You can study any old philosophy. You can study the Old Testament. You can study the New Testament. You can study the OG personal development guides. And here's what we will tell you. In fact, I'm not religious by any means, but we can all learn a lot from a lot of people, right? But service to many will lead to greatness. Service to many will lead to greatness. Service to many will lead to greatness. So if you're feeling anxiety about it being comfortable or uncomfortable, whatever, just know you're limiting your impact. Just know that you're limiting your impact. Mandy, for the sake of time, just come back and rewatch her if somebody can type in the chat box. I think if you scroll up, Eden already typed it. All right, because I got to get going. Okay, so far, let me just check in. You guys feeling this? You want me to keep going? We're at the top of the hour. I could stop. You guys want me to keep going? All right, I'll keep going. All right, so, okay. So, in a very cluttered world of social media, how do you differentiate yourself? How do you stand out? Just based on what I've shared so far, how do you guys, what's going on in your heads right now? Like, what's going through your mind? How can you differentiate yourself? How can you stand apart, provide value, be you, right? What else? Be true to who you are. No one else is like you. That's right. Be authentic, be open, be vulnerable. Personal journey. Okay. Now, here's the other thing I'm going to suggest. Now, I'm seeing this a lot on Instagram stories, a lot. We've got to scale back how hard we're selling on Instagram stories. We got to. We've got to scale back how hard we're selling on Instagram stories. Now, I recognize that Instagram stories is an incredible lead magnet. It's a great way to generate interest. But if you really want to grow influence, then you've got to be willing to disproportionately share about your journey, your story, other people's journeys and stories versus how much you're selling our products. You got it. Why is that important? The reason that it's important is even though we have people that are trickling in through IG stories and things like that, the rest of your market is becoming desensitized. You're losing people left and right. I promise you, you are shutting people out because every time they come on your stories, if they see that all you're pitching is isogenics, then guess what their interpretation of you is going to be? All he wants to do is sell me. That's all he cares about. That's it. And we become like the influencers who are just trying to sell a program or a course. So it's so important to mix it up. And I would say be disproportionately heavy on sharing more of what you're experiencing, what your team is experiencing, right? What the pain points have been, what the growth points have been, all of those things. Because that way you become influential. That way you become credible. That way when you do a post about the shakes or a promotion or whatever may be, the influx will be so significantly greater than what you're currently experiencing. Because people will look at you and go, oh my God, if Nicole, if Abra, if Danny, if Alexis, if Ellie, like if they think I should do this, I should do this. I should do this. Why should I do this? Because I trust them. They just know me. They know me. They know who I am. They share with me unequivocally all day. Share more, Haley, share more about your personal journey, what you're learning, what you're growing, what you're experiencing, what the team is experiencing, all those things, than sharing a picture of a canister of shakes or that it's 24 grams of New Zealand, or grass-fed protein or whatever may be, right? Share what you're learning, share what you're reading, right? Share who you are as a person, share your challenges, but share your challenges from a place of inspiration. Okay? All right. Next thing. How do you stay consistent, and why is consistency so important? My throat is so dry right now. Part of the reason my throat is dry is because, I don't know if you guys saw this on our stories, the entire bottom floor of our house got flooded on Saturday, completely flooded. And apparently the guys that came to like suck out all the water and whatever, they test for like mold, apparently like the toxicity level of that first floor, like the air, it's like a level 3 or something like that, right? And I'm guessing it's on a scale of 5, so that can't be good. But anyway, my throat's super dry. Okay, so consistency is so important, and here's why. Consistency, the reason consistency is so important more than anything else is that consistency breeds credibility. People are waiting for you to stop. People are waiting for you to quit. And at the first sign of weakness, they'll go somewhere else. At the first sign that you're not someone they can count on to lead them from where they are to where they deserve to be, they're going to stop paying attention. That's why it's so important that you show up every single day. Now, do you have to come up with world-class content every single day? Of course not. No way, shape, or form. It takes years to potentially develop that skill. But can you show up in a way where you can just give a little something here and there every day? Absolutely, you can. Absolutely, you have the ability to do that. Okay. Consistency creates credibility. I'm sorry, Nicole. Am I boring you? I see you yawning over there. I'm just kidding. All right. What about sharing success stories in the team? Yeah, I talked about that, right? Without feeling like it's selling, okay? So one of the really effective things that I've seen on Instagram stories is we can share these stories, right? We create pictures and say, you know, and I'm just using the people that, because they're the people, 5 people I can see on my screen, right? But again, let me tell you about Nicole. She's a nutritionist, she's a health coach, but before that, she was an entrepreneur. She worked for a payroll company, and I can type all those things out. But more powerful than that is me really sharing Nicole's story on camera. Let me tell you about my friend Nicole. And I start to share Nicole's story, and then I can embed a photo, and then I come back on camera, okay? And then I come back on camera, and then I embed a photo, right? And talk about what the pain was. What were the challenges? Who do you know that's like Nicole, right? And you don't have to include a call to action. That's how you know that's how you don't have to sell. Not everything has to have a call to action built in, which I know, again, goes against some of what you may have been taught previously, and that's okay. I'm totally fine going against the grain. There's power, guys, in marketing through seduction. And seduction does not come with a call to action with everything that you do. A call to action immediately, literally says, buy from me. That's what it says. Join me, DM me, and it's okay to embed those. There's nothing wrong with those. But drop them in. Give people subtle opportunities. Because here's what happens. Are you more likely to buy something if it's always available or if it's only available for a limited time? Limited. We all want something exclusive. We all want to get that VIP. Do you want to go to a bar that has giant billboards all around it with big flashing neon lights with like 2-for-1 Jell-O shots? Or do you want to go to the bar that you don't even know about? Do you want to go to the bar that requires a secret entrance to the speakeasy? Where do you want to go? Right. So once in a while, the speakeasy opens its door and allows 1 or 2 people in. No, it's not deceptive, Rachel. It's not about being deceptive. It's about positioning yourself to say, hey, I'm out here sharing stories. I'm out here telling you what we got going on, but I'm not necessarily saying that I'm opening the door for you to come in every single time. But once in a while, I'm going to give you the opportunity to come in. Once in a while, I'm going to invite you into the private bar. Once in a while. And what that creates is, it creates the ability so that you don't have to use call to actions. People will just message you and say, yo, what about me? That story you told about Brandy, that sounds like me. That sounds like me. Right? I want to do, how is she doing that? Because guess what? When you can have people come to you and say, hey, I want to know what you're doing, I want in, and you didn't even invite them in, guess what? No money objection whatsoever. They're going to be enthusiastic. They're going to be eager, and you don't have to sell them anything at all. They're in. They're already in. They're completely enrolled. And so once in a while, open the door to the VIP room. Once in a while, open the rope, right? But not constantly. Because if you're constantly doing it, you're selling. And there's nothing wrong with sales. But marketing is to get people in front of us. Selling is once they're in front of us. Those are totally different, right? So marketing gets the people in front of us. Selling is once they're in front of us, okay? And here's the beauty of it. When someone comes to you through marketing, they want to be sold to. They're giving you permission. Another term that maybe you have or haven't heard, instead of attraction marketing, is permission marketing. I give you permission. I'm coming to you. Nicole, sell me. What do you got? Here's my credit card. It's so much more fun, okay? All right. One last thing, and then we're going to go. Now, I'm going to hold my hand up and say that I got really lazy about this. I got really lazy about it. And I just did. I'll be fully accountable. I got really lazy about this, and I'm going to get back to it immediately. But I'm going to challenge all of you to get back to, and some of you are doing this, but not too much, I don't think. The most powerful form of attraction marketing, hands down, by far, non-negotiably, the stats back it up. I'm going to read them to some of you. Can anyone tell me what you think might be, Eden, don't answer this, the most effective vehicle for attraction marketing? Does anybody know what it might be? It's not before and afters. Brianna got it. Lives. Facebook Lives. Not Instagram stories. Not Instagram Lives. Facebook Lives. Check this out. Facebook Live videos generate watch times that are 3 times longer. Facebook Live videos produce 6 times as many interactions as traditional video, and Instagram stories are still considered traditional video. 80% of people would rather watch a live video than read a blog, and 82% prefer live video versus social posts. Video on social media, okay, live video on social media, get this, generates 1,200% more shares than text and images combined. 1,200% more. Okay, now, some of you are masterful on IG stories. So for those of you guys that are masterful on IG stories, what I want to challenge you to do is I want to challenge you to ping pong from your IG stories and drive them from your stories to your Facebook Lives. Some of you that are brand new that aren't using IG, but you're a little bit hesitant to go live on Facebook, I just want to invite you just to do your first one. Antonio Sclafani just did his first one last week or 2 weeks ago. Just do your first one. Okay? Mandy says, I struggle with topics to go live about. Mandy, you've been on this planet for 25 years. You have 25 years of experience. Okay? I'm sure you can come up with plenty of topics. It's very simple. Okay? What am I learning right now? What have I learned? What am I learning? What have I learned? What am I excited about in my life? What are some stories I can share? You guys can interview each other. That's really powerful. Right now, CG Siddons is doing a very powerful series where every Monday night she's interviewing somebody on her team. Okay? And I'll tell you what, I'll give you a perfect example of people that did this and they didn't want to do it. Eric and Shannon Miller, when I first met them, each had about 300 friends on Facebook, no social following at all. And I said to them, I was like, if you guys are going to grow this, you got to go live on Facebook. They were both terrified of going on camera. And I know I'm allowed to talk about this because he's my homie. And he's my homie and so I'm allowed to. Eric would pre-record videos and then send them to me and say, is this okay? Can I do this on a live? Okay. And they were like 15, 20 minutes. They were all scripted out. It was really adorable. And I said, no, just go. And over time, they just started doing it week after week after week after week. Okay. So my challenge to you guys this week, and by the way, their entire business, so much of their business grew because of their Facebook Lives. Because guess, remember, 1,200% increase in shares. So people are watching their videos, their friends are watching, they start tagging, they start sharing, hey, you got to check these guys out. And then they start to look at all their other posts. Now they also started creating friendships online like I coached earlier in the call. And guess what happens? You start these authentic conversations with people, you go live. The way the Facebook algorithm works is it goes like this. It goes, first of all, we're going to favor people that go live because Facebook wants to own the live video space. The other thing it's going to do is it's going to push your content into the news feeds of the people that you're in chat conversations with. Same thing on Instagram for the most part, okay? So the people that you're most consistently conversating with in chat, in Messenger, they're who are going to see your posts. So if you want to dominate the news feeds and you want them to see your other content posts, start doing Facebook Lives. Try just one. Just one. Just one. And remember what I said at the beginning of the call or earlier. If you're struggling, if you're scared to go live, and I totally get it, I totally appreciate that, then you're making it about you. But just ask yourself the question, what's more important to you? What's more important to you? Your potential freedom or continuing to be a prisoner to your limiting beliefs in the story that you're telling yourself? What's more important to you? Type in the chat box. What's more important to you? What do you value more, your freedom or remaining a prisoner of your limiting beliefs in the story that you tell yourself? Okay. A couple months back, I wrote a post about how Eden and I don't remember it, babe. I don't have those ones in front of me. I wrote a post about how Eden and I come up with content. It's just a written post. Would you guys like it if I repost that in the group on how I come up with content for Facebook Lives, for my posts, anything like that would be helpful? Okay, cool. I'm gonna ask that question one more time. What's more important to you? Your potential freedom or remaining a prisoner to your limiting beliefs and the stories that you continue to tell yourself? Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for indulging me for 45 minutes tonight instead of 30 minutes. I hope this call was worth it to you. I'm going to post in the group, what did you learn? Hopefully you guys had some big takeaways. We'll get this recording up as quickly as possible so you guys can share with the team members that weren't available this evening. If you guys have any questions about this, please feel free to comment on the thread in the Dream Team page, and I'll be happy to answer them as you go. Anyway, have a great evening, everybody, and I'll see you soon. Peace.